Well, g'day, Flatties and reality defenders. This is the legendary Critical Think from Down Under. Thank you. 5K subs now. That's wonderful. Thanks very much. Today is the 3 Bitcoin Challenge, day 4. And let's hear a different clip about the challenge today.
3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. Watch the daily video each day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think you have a proof, send it to me. But before you do, hit the question mark button, which is the frequently asked questions, and see if your question is already answered there, which it probably is.
I don't know what questions you would want answered there, but I guess we can deal with that later. So today's daily video is a long one. It's like 2 hours something, but not to worry. We're not going to do the whole 2 hours. We can pretty much invalidate the whole video in a few minutes, but we will delve into it in various places. Now, we'll go through the housekeeping as usual. Don't forget to like and subscribe. My GoFundMe is there for those people who haven't donated or feel like they appreciate my work and want to donate. If you don't want to pay the tip to GoFundMe, don't forget to turn that bit off. And the final experiments, the link will be in the description. So donations much appreciated. This is helping me a lot, and I'll get on with this video today. Now, one thing you're going to need to know about before you see this video is about the stolen concept fallacy. Now, this is a type of illogical reasoning that involves using a concept, in this case the globe, while denying the validity of the concepts on which it depends. So it's a common fallacy in flat earthery. Now, the stolen concept fallacy is a form of self-refuting statement. It's characterized by using a concept while denying the validity of the concepts that it depends on. So in this case, with flat earthery, they use globe-derived data, and then they use that to deny the globe exists, even though the globe existed to get the data in the first place. So let's move over to the video. So this is a presentation by George Nuber from the GeoTruth channel. Now, as we all know, anybody with truth in their name is dedicated to completely the opposite. They'll ignore truth, and that's pretty much an immutable fact with all of these channels. But anyway, let's skip and find out what this interview is all about. Right, I've got to speed this up a bit, as usual. Let's go.
Emily, blessed to have you guys joining us as we dive into one of my favorite topics, talking about the firmament. And it's the only structure, as most of you know, that was made on day 2 of creation. And the proofs for this barrier just keep pouring in, and we are beyond blessed and honored to have.
There is no proof of the firmament. Sorry. But anyway, we'll see what they got to say with this.
Who's joining us again to talk about how navigational data and many other things prove that there's a firmament above us. And it's, for some people, their final observation sadly will be when it parts like a scroll. I'm hoping it's not your final observation. And so thank you guys for joining us. I want to go ahead and look and see who all is here. It looks like we have Tyler Porter in the house. Welcome, brother. Lots of things going on. Glad to see you're continuing to shine the light with all the darkness. I know there's just been a dark cloud over the truth community. It's been depressing. I believe it is.
I think he might be talking about the final experiment here, because this is videos from 8 days ago. And he's caused a little bit of a ruckus in the community. I think that's what he's talking about, even though he doesn't mention it.
With all the powers of darkness, trying to divide truth seekers, and it's been sad. And so continue to pray for guidance into navigating this crazy world we're in with all the deceptions and people out there being deceived and all of that. So
this is the part that gets me. The religious, most of them are religious flat earthers. They harp on this thing about deception, and they say that we're being deceived, and They fail to understand that the deception can work on them as well. They could be the ones that are being deceived, but no, they're too proud. Their ego is too big. They don't even consider that they might actually be the ones that are on the side of deception, that they are the ones that are being deceived. They think they're right. They think they're batting on a particular team, but actually they're batting on the other side. So it's always interested me when people talk about deception, but they want to always blame it on another person and they don't look back towards themselves. It's a common egotistical and narcissistic fault. But anyway, let's carry on. Okay, we'll skip forward a bit to see what's going on here.
And then I see something different and go, well, that's not right. And then I'll look another way and oh, well, this makes more sense. That happened with the calendar with me this year. It really happened a lot using the sundial. I've learned so much on that sundial.
Yeah.
On that, and it tells you that we live on a level plane and there's no curvature, because I know exactly every day when I take a sundial reading at high noon, I know exactly to almost a mile or two where the sun is, on its travel every day. And later on in this presentation, I'm going to show now, I've realized how I can show it on.
He knows where the sun is every day. I wonder if he can tell me how far away the sun is, or even how high the sun is. I'm willing to bet he doesn't know where the sun is. I'm willing to bet that he cannot answer those questions. So what's he doing saying he knows where the sun is? Of course he doesn't. Not one flat earther knows where the sun is. They don't know how high it is. They don't know how far away it is. Crazy.
On the illusionary globe as well. So Yahuwah's laws for his sun and moon to move, do it. They tried to lie about it with the curvature, but it's still there in the curvature.
Again, this is the old tactic. Oh, they're lying. Oh, it's fake. Oh, there's no curvature. Oh, sick of hearing that. We know there's curvature. It's measured.
So we'll get into that later on. Yep.
Awesome stuff. I can't wait to see this stuff and also share some things as well pretty soon. I was trying to share it before we went live here, and I just couldn't get the video to come to fruition.
Yeah. So I just got one file tonight. It's a long one. So can I get on there?
There you go.
Okay. So this is a start of a video I put out, I don't know, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where I actually realized that the data that I thought was wrong, when I realized that the data for the same location of the sun, north or south, it was perfectly mirrored on the equator. And I'm going, well, that's just not true. That's how they're trying to show the globe work, right? Well, then when we actually came into my mind when they had Austin and those guys go down there in Antarctica and they're seeing a 24-hour sun. I'm going, okay, well, they're seeing it. And I did a presentation before that where I think, well, if there's sun there, that's not the real sun, right? But I'm going, well, wait a minute. The data is observations made for hundreds of years, not thousands of years. That's what people go by to know where they're at with the sun, basically the sun more than the moon. And so if these things that we observed for thousands, hundreds of years, and now we got the data that's available for anybody to navigate every day for the last couple hundred years, and it's going farther out, then it must be true because we're seeing the sun where it's at. Or we're seeing the actual sun or perspective of the sun for north of the sun, but if you're south of it, especially south of the equator, you're seeing an apparent sun. And it's
So, if we're south of the equator, we're seeing an apparent sun. Is that what he said? Oh, the absolute bollocks they come up with just to explain the observations that sort of indicate that the Earth is a kind of globish kind of thing rather than flat, because this map is kaput now. The 24-hour sun sort of like makes that map totally negated, totally refuted, totally falsified. And so now they have to fudge things and make up new ideas and new diagrams and new pseudoscience to cater for the fact that we've seen the 24-hour sun now. So all the old bollocks has to be replaced with new bollocks. But anyway, let's see what else.
being mirrored off of the firmament. I'll say more than one, maybe firmaments. We don't know. So we're just kind of...
You don't even know that there's one. Why would you say there's many firmaments? Nobody's ever seen one firmament. 0 firmaments there is because no evidence exists of any firmament.
I changed this picture to show that when you see this, where the sun is, it's at the Tropic of Capricorn, which is the winter solstice. And when I first saw this, like, well, this is crazy because the sun is practically covering the majority, like 66% of the Earth, which it would on the globe. This is a circular level plane Earth, which is much bigger than the globe. And I'm going, yeah. But now if you think about the firmament involved, then it's totally different because the sun is opposite of the nighttime area, which would make sense. But what's happening is on the opposite side of the sun, the curvature of the firmament, and I think it might not necessarily be the first one, it could be the second one that's doing it, it actually creates light all the way on the other side of the Earth, circular little planet.
So it's a pure thought experiment. No measurements, this guy hasn't even got the upturned satellite bowl to show how the firmament might work. So he's got nothing. He's just speculating, coming up with complete bollocks, pulling it out of his rear end. And this is science for you, right? And so I think they call this science biblical cosmology or something, where you can just make it up as you go along. There's no worries. Don't worry about reality. Reality doesn't matter. The Earth needs to be flat. We need to adjust all the physics and everything to make sure that the Earth's flat, and create apparent suns or many suns or whatever might be necessary just so that we can still say that the Earth's flat. So that's their kind of science for you. Why should I want to promote that? I don't know.
Earth. I had myself, but it's exciting to now realize what we see is true, and it can't be taken away. Satan can't take it away. He can only manipulate it and lie about it.
Right.
So, but I'm going to get right into scripture here. But Yahweh desires us to diligently.
So I'll skip over a lot of this because he's creating the fallacy here of using the Bible as a science book. The Bible is not a science book. It's a religious text. You can use it for religious reasons. Certainly should not be used for any scientific reasoning or research. I'm sure that the Creator gave you a brain so that you could use it, but then it seems in this case it's a wasted gift. So we'll skip ahead over all this biblical stuff, which is okay if you're a religious scholar, but if you're a scientific scholar, it's worthless.
Based on these observations, navigational data, which is the azimuth angle and altitude angle of the sun or moon, are provided for any location on the Earth at any minute of any day of any month of any year. We have that data, right? And I'm using it now and understanding it more and more.
So he says he's using this data, and it's from the US Naval Observatory, the navigational data. Now he's making this story here that this data is based on mankind observing movements of the sun and the moon above the Earth for thousands of years. That's a story he makes up to justify his use of globe data to to deny that the globe exists. So I did a little bit of research on this, and I asked my mate ChatGPT. So I said, do you know the source of information for US Naval Observatory navigational data? And the primary source is highly precise astronomical and geophysical data derived from observations. Yes. Models? Oops. What kind of model would that be? Calculations? Oops. And conducted by the USNO itself. These include astronomical observations, Earth orientation parameters. This is data on the Earth's rotation and orientation. Oh, the flat earthers say the Earth doesn't rotate, but the data that he's using is based on Earth rotation and wobble. And they all go, oh, the Earth's a wobbling ball in space. I don't believe that. But look at this. The data that he's using is based on parameters including wobble and polar motion and variations in universal time, timekeeping data, geophysical models. Now look at this. Look at this. Models of the Earth's atmosphere, tides, gravitational field. Gravitational field? What? How about that? Gravity exists. And these things affect astronomical observations and calculations. How come that guy didn't mention all of these things? The USNO also collaborates with international organisations like the International Astronomical Union. Oh, no biblical cosmologists consulted in this. International Earth Rotation and Reference Systems Service and other for data standardization and sharing. So this data is used to produce the almanacs. And I said, does this data assume the Earth is a globe, as if we didn't know the obvious? But let's just ask the question anyway. Yes, the data provided by the US Naval Observatory assumes that the Earth is a globe. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? It's modelled as an oblate spheroid even. What have I been telling all you flatties all this time? Here it is in black and white. I told you it was an oblate spheroid. And that means it's slightly flattened at the poles, yes, due to the Earth's rotation. P-brain, paying attention, P-brain? Flatzoid, paying attention? This assumption is the foundational to modern astronomy, navigation and geophysics for several reasons. So, this data, navigational data, is the foundation, right? It's assuming the Earth is rotating. None of this would work if the Earth was not an oblate spheroid. So this navigational data is depends on that, and it's based on that. So you cannot use this data to say that the Earth is not rotating or the Earth is flat. That's the stolen concept fallacy. You can't do that. This data can only be applied to the globe. So it goes on and on, the same thing. The positions and motions of celestial objects are calculated based on the geometry of a spherical or ellipsoidal Earth. This model aligns with observed phenomena. In other words, the flat Earth model does not align with observed phenomena, such as curvature of the Earth's shadow during lunar eclipses. Funny about that. These parameters describe the orientation of the Earth's rotational axis and its position in space. The oblate spheroid model is critical for accurately describing the Earth's rotation, which affects navigation and timekeeping. So here it is right here saying that this oblate spheroid model, this is needed, absolutely. It's critical. And this is how the navigation tables are created. So he's trying to use this data to say that the Earth is flat. So stolen concept. Modern navigation systems such as GPS rely on geodetic models like WGS84, which treat the Earth as an oblate spheroid. Yes, we're familiar with that here in the legendary critical think house. We know that it's an oblate spheroid because of the weight measurements. So these models are not just made up and plucked out of somebody's rear end. They're derived from extensive satellite and ground-based measurements. So what's the flat Earth model derived from? No measurements. No measurements ever done. Stolen concepts using the globe data. And the globe model is consistent with observable evidence, including the horizon's curvature visible from high altitudes. Oh, no observable curvature, no measurable curvature. And there's also variations in star visibility and constellations with latitude. Oh, you mean to say that that's consistent with the globe, but not consistent with the flat Earth? Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I've got to laugh at this one. The behaviour of ships disappearing hull first over the horizon. That old, yes, ships disappear over the horizon. That's curvature. All the flatties get their knickers in a knot over that one too. And let's go. This is really good. This is really good stuff. Historical validation. The globe model has been tested and validated over centuries, from Eratosthenes' measurement of the Earth's circumference in ancient Greece to modern space exploration and satellite imagery. So that's the data this Flattie is using. His reference, the data, is using the globe model, and that's essential for accuracy and reliability of navigational data, and has been thoroughly confirmed by empirical evidence. It's another word for it's been tested millions of times. It's never been found wanting. Always the data and measurements support the globe, never support the flat earth. So what would this guy be going on about, do you think? So, he digs himself deeper in the hole here. He's saying this navigational data is the only trusted source of data available to determine the location of the sun or the moon. Thanks for confirming the globe there. It's all based on the globe. It's the only trusted source of data. And all of these things. Any models, apps, or programs developed must use the navigational data, the US Naval Observatory's navigational data of the sun and moon, in order for anything to be correct and trustworthy. In other words, if you don't have a globe, then you're not using this navigational data. I'm sure that this guy has found some way to use some fudge factors, etc., and total misunderstanding of the data to try and determine that, oh, this proves a flat earth, this data. So, yeah, I'm sure it's complete and utter bollocks because he's using the data derived from a globe.
This is the key here. Any models, apps, or programs developed must use the Naval Observatory's navigational data of the sun and moon in order for the model, app, or program to be correct and trustworthy. In other words, the Naval Observatory navigational data is the model or data to know the locations and movements of the sun and moon above the Earth at any minute of any day of any month of any year. That's pretty much what I've come to with a year and a half of me trying to understand navigation, how it works on the level.
So if you're using this data and you claim you understand how it works, I mean, that's false already because you don't even understand that it comes from the globe. And whatever you say from here on end is completely invalid because you're using the stolen concept. So let's see if there's anything else interesting to show with this video. But otherwise, I think we're done. I'll have a quick look. More biblical cosmology, using the Bible as a science book. Invalid. Oh, let's see what this says.
Inhabitants there, so that they get the same sunlight coverage that those in the north, living north of the equator or north of the sun do. The sun will always rotate around whatever observation point you're at, and that's how the Father does it, is through the firmaments. So going back now, we talked about this, Josh, and at first I thought this was not right because it didn't follow what the Gleason's map was showing for sunlight coverage. But now it is right because we get 12 hours of sunlight at all locations. So what I did now is, this is the true sunlight coverage, and it's also due because it's doing it with the firmaments. It's lighting up this farther area around half the circular level plane Earth. So we're going to show that now, and this was in one of my videos I did, looking at sunlight coverage on the spring equinox. Okay, so this is the illusionary globe Earth, because obviously it does the same thing. On the right side, we've got a North Pole view. We're looking down on the illusionary globe Earth down. So half of that side is covered in light, and then we look.
So this is going to be interesting. So he's taken the equinox, where there's half sun, and he's somehow going to make this appear valid with the flat Earth.
Pole side, we see the other half. So it's showing us that one half of the illusionary globe is lit. Now, what I did here is I got to pull the data straight from the navigational data from the Naval Observatory. This is
based navigational data based on a globe, right?
And I did a location. Well, the sun is located at 0 degrees latitude, right on the equator. What I did is now I looked at 30 degrees latitude north of the equator at 105 degrees longitude, and I kept the same longitude on the right side, but at minus 30 degrees latitude. So I went 30 degrees north and south on the same longitude line to start getting the data. And so and I did it for every hour increment, solar hour increment, like 15, 30, that way. And you can see basically, the azimuth angles tells us how we're doing with the angles for time. These are always going to be 15 degrees difference going through the solar hour of 24 hours. But if you look at the altitude angles, they look pretty close. I mean, they end up being like a mirror when you put it on the map. And so you can see that the altitude angles are the same. Like when it's high noon, which is hour 6 for both of them, you see that the altitude angle is 60 degrees. Now, this elevation, sun in miles, again, that's a perspective. It's related to the relationship of the altitude angles provided versus 90 degrees. At 90 degrees, the sun is at 3,107 miles in elevation. At 0 degrees, the sun's perspective is 0 elevation because it's at the horizon. That's just...
He's got this wrong. Oh, surprise, surprise. He's somehow mixing up perspective and actual height. So he said elevation of sun in miles. Now, with perspective, you use elevation angles, not distance. So he's getting this very confused, and he's saying that if you were to, well, he's not saying this, but if you were to measure the elevation in miles, the sun doesn't go up and down like that. I mean, doesn't go up and down in miles. So with perspective, yes, it appears to go up and down, but he hasn't done the calculations. I haven't got time now to go through it, but none of this can be correct, because for the sun to appear like it was this low, you need to take into account how far away the sun is. The sun never gets that far away. So all this table is pretty much a load of bollocks, and I'm sure if we looked into it, we'd work out exactly how it is bollocks, but I haven't got the time to do that today. But just looking at that, that's crazy stuff already.
3,107. So that's how all these elevation in miles, these are perspective, are determined. And I've got that shown in that note 3. It's a simple calculation, so we can see the perspective.
So it seems like I haven't watched watch all this in detail. He seems to be saying there's a 3,000 mile high sun. That's interesting.
And see if I can't blow it up, but now we're looking straight down. You can see the inner circle there, partial circle, is 30 degrees latitude, and it's at 105 longitude. So it's 30 degrees, the point that we're looking at is 30 degrees latitude north of the equator. And then we see now, this is the actual points of where the sun's traveling from east to west, from left to right for a 12-hour period, all the way across, okay? And what I have on there, the AZ is the basically the azimuth angle, and the AA is the altitude angle. So you can see when we get to 180 degrees azimuth, which is true south, we're looking true south, that's the highest, the sun will be at its highest elevation, and that's 60 degrees altitude angle right there. And then it pretty well goes around. You can almost notice, too, that it's symmetrical from hour to hour. 11 o'clock altitude angle is the same as 1 o'clock or 13 hour 7. Hour 5 altitude angle is the same as hour 7. It mirrors even, from solar noon left to right. But that's the plot for the sun movement and how it's seen north, 30 degrees latitude north at 105.
Yeah, but small problem. This only works on a globe, doesn't work on a flat Earth. So I don't know.
Now, we took the same data for the 30 degrees south, and again, now if you're looking from the south, you're looking from the east. The east is to the right of you instead of the left, but it's the same progression, okay? And you can see that true north, which is going to be 0 degrees azimuth or 360 degrees, is altitude angle 60, and then we go right or left of it, they're pretty much the same. So we're seeing a mirror going on right there. And so if you look at where the sun...
Yeah, where's the sun on that diagram? So these lines don't seem to line up to where the sun actually is. So that looks like a little bit of gobbledygook, that is. No wonder nobody can understand it.
But then you actually see an apparent sun on hour 24.
Ah, that's how he does it, right? So the sun is not really where you see it. It's somehow magically transformed to a different place. He needs it to be an apparent sun so that he can squash the physics or the lack of physics, so he can all squash it into a crazy flat Earth model. And in other words, he's got to invalidate physics so that the Earth can be flat. Now, there's no problem for flat earthers normally. I mean, the answer must always be flat, no matter what, right? You can have the sun doing circles over your head in Antarctica, but the answer must be flat. No, don't worry, it doesn't matter. The Earth's still flat. So this is all the same kind of stuff. Don't worry, we can have many suns, or maybe a magical apparent sun that just goes where we want it to go. Not where the sun actually is. Not where the sun we see is, not where the sun we see goes. No, we have to have a magic apparent sun. So that's how he's making this work. All of this other stuff here is a bit of a smokescreen, and try and baffle the flatties with bollocks. And all the flatties will look at that with, oh, look at that, that's so clever. Oh, yes, that's how the Earth can be flat. Dear, oh dear.
Which is following the same that the 30 degrees north people see. And then until you see the true sun on hour 6, which is the high noon. But then after that, hour 7, it's an apparent sun going around.
So it's only the true sun at one point, which is where apparently the flat Earth sun lines up with the globe sun. And then thereafter, the position of the sun lines up exactly with the globe. But because he needs the Earth to be flat, he'll be saying, oh, it's an apparent sun. It goes apparently. It's only a real sun at one point in time. Right, good one. Wonderful.
Together. And you'll see that the equator mirror line is there, and that's caused by the crystalline firmament above. Perfectly mirrored. So the person viewing this north of, on the 30 degrees north line.
Oh, it's just a complete load of rubbish. Let's see what else.
Now we're going to get into where a lot of the major stumbling block for all of us that believe in a circular level plane Earth or a flat Earth. We all kept looking at this December solstice. I kept saying this has got to be true, and it tells you it's actually totally wrong. It shows the sunlight only in this area here, and everything else around it is not covered in 24-hour sunlight. And so this is wrong. And that's a stumbling block. It's surprising that that's on Gleason's map, but we have to figure truth out ourselves. And now we know that that's not true. That part of the Gleason's map is not true. So navigational data of sunlight in Antarctica during the summer months shows 24-hour sunlight. We've already seen that. Therefore, the Gleason's map graphic and description of sunlight coverage during the December solstice is not correct. And basically, the Gleason's map doesn't recognize the perfect mirroring of the sunlight at the equator caused by the crystalline firmaments.
So, at least he's recognized the Gleason map is not correct. What he doesn't understand that there's no flat Earth map that's correct. And whatever it is he's trying to make up here, I don't have time to analyse it. It would take me several days, and I've only got just today to do this. But it's got to be a load of bollocks as usual. It always is. And let's listen to a little bit of it, just in case there might be something fun in here.
And this is also showing that's why it works on the spherical illusionary for spherical Earth, because it's mimicking the same data. The data is the same for both the circular level plane Earth and illusionary globe. It works on both. Okay.
No, there you go. So stealing the globes and just translating it, saying, oh, it works on a flat Earth. No, it cannot possibly work on a flat Earth. What the hell are you talking about? They're two different shapes. It was round like this, oh, look, I got one here. That's globe. Now, flat, the position of the sun and everything and all the physical things that happen cannot possibly work on a flat Earth and a globe at the same time. That is one of the stupidest things I have heard in the last 12 hours. No, is there more bollocks with the sun elevation? Okay, let's skip through. Oh, what are these? Are these the 24-hour suns at each of the different latitudes? Oh, that's interesting. Let's look at that.
Hour 4 is noontime for plus 120 longitude. You can see it up there in the corner. Then we'll go to hour 5. Hour 6. The hour I'm mentioning is the sun's actual time. The other hours are different based on their longitude location. Hour 7. Hour 8 now is plus 60 degree longitude high noon. You can see it there. And then we'll come around to 21, 22, 23, 24. And that's when longitude plus minus 180 has their high noon. That's how it works for all the different locations. It's amazing when you think of all that going on at the same time. It's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, I mean, it's right there. Now, again, this is the illusionary south pole of the globe Earth. I have to show this. So it has the exact same, view that we saw on the circular level plane Earth, the level Earth, and it has that same going from this is going from right to left because we're down at the south pole. So the sun is actually going counterclockwise down here. I just wanted to make that point that it works on their illusionary Earth too. Now, this is the first time I've done it for the moon. We're going to do the same thing because if it works for the sun, it works for the moon, it works for probably the stars too.
So all he's done is take the globe data and just say, no measurements, no nothing, no science, no physics, just say it works on the flat Earth. That's crazy stuff. Oh, look, all it is, we take all our data for the globe and we'll just say, look, the Earth's flat, it still works. Don't worry about anything, just trust me. Trust me, bro, it works on a flat Earth. Right. Yeah, want to buy a bridge? Anybody?
They're hard to track.
Yeah, and I find it crazy that I couldn't find 24-hour moon footage anywhere. Like, it should be when there's darkness for 6 months at a certain.
Oh, no worries. Go to the Final Experiment channel and you'll see the 24-hour moon footage. No worries with that, mate.
Well, you just challenged me because I think it can happen. I just got to get to a point where the moon is down because the moon does go down to minus 28 degrees latitude. And if it does that, I very well could map. You get the data to see what's going on. Minus 80 degrees latitude and see what happens with the moon data. I can do that. I can find it out very simple. It's easy now. Lunar cycle, which is 29 or 30 days. That the moon travels
using globe data.
Plus and minus elevation as it circles around. It's just we're able to see it again in hour 12. It's parallel to the Earth, but
we got footage of the firmament. We have so many anomalies that are possible because of the firmament, the Elias effect.
Yeah.
The firmament that doesn't exist. Anyway, and the changing of the rules of perspective. Perspective's the magic answer, he was saying there. Let's skip a little bit more.
That happened in North Carolina too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it happened with the insurance too. They have to be in on it. I think as far as mega, the merchants of the earth, so to speak, those rich people, it's like you have pharmacy. I'm afraid to say that out loud. You have big oil and insurance. I mean, insurance and the people we're paying taxes to,
not interesting,
making the most money. I'm talking information. I mean, it's everywhere. The stories about the final experiment. You never see that about our laser test that destroyed the globe ever. You don't ever see globe earthers admit they were wrong. They didn't see any curve over here. That's never. If it's a fake news story like that goes against creation, it's going to be promoted. And there's a documentary. It's an investment. The guy funding this trip is an investor. He was investing in worldly fame, I believe. And there's going to be a lot of fame and wealth that follows with the documentary.
What's this? Trying to do a beat up on Will Duffy.
It was all about making the documentary. And so I think it's going to be like Behind the Curve where you hear that was interesting.
No, it was not all about making the documentary. That's false. I can vouch for that. It was never about making the documentary in the beginning. In fact, Will said that there was no documentary, but then one of the participants pulled out, and the reason why we're having no documentary because the flat earthers would never accept any globe documentary. So how that changed was one of the globe earthers pulled out because of illness, and then the suggested replacement was a flat earth filmmaker. And the Flatties thought that it would be okay to have a flat earth filmmaker. And there was no original intention for documentary, but there will be a documentary.
With your friends. I've seen people stop being friends because you believe they actually went and they weren't on a stage, and now I'm done with you. It's like, no, calm down. This stuff, it just happened, okay? And it doesn't disprove what we believe. It doesn't destroy or add curvature. You can't add curvature by looking up.
Yes, it does disprove what you believe. Sorry about that.
Paying somebody to level your house and they just come in and look at your ceiling fan. They're not good at leveling your house. You need to find somebody.
No. I haven't got time to go into that, but no, where the sun goes and what it does is completely relevant to the shape of the Earth, because the sun cannot circle like that at South Pole and North Pole on any flat surface. So yes, it's got nothing to do with looking at your ceiling fan.
it just amazes me that that's not taught at all. But I guess that's why they don't talk about surface water in school or anything like that and how it functions. If they did, it'd go, man, well, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. We should have been in geometry class. Why weren't they like, here's the curve formula, here's how you can prove it, measure it? No. And that's why all the globe proofs, they don't have curvature measurements. I would like.
Oh my God, we don't have curvature measurements. I hate it when you say that. Because you're just sticking your head in the sand. Of course we have curvature measurements. 100,000 flights every day. They use global navigation. I've measured curvature. I've measured the radius of the Earth. How dare you say don't have curvature measurements? That's false. That's a lie. Got a lie to fluff. Oh, that's really, really annoying. They say that. This is... How can they be allowed to spread this blatant disinformation? Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, this is a truther for you. A truther. This is how much truth that they like to promote. Oh, you've never measured curvature. What kind of truth is that? That's a blatant lie. Oh.
Distant mountains and do curve calculations. Like focus on that. Stop looking at shadows. Look at the distance.
I've done the curve calculations for distant mountains. Maybe you should go to my channel. Look at it.
I don't know if you noticed, but when I did the geometry on the curvature Earth, we show every time what the curvature amount was, how many miles. Each time wherever the sun was versus on the observation, it's right there too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think I'm getting a bit tired of this. And so, I don't know, it'd be interesting maybe get some time to do a detailed debunk of this one, because the level of bollocks is pretty high in that. And look, they look so confident that they are correct, at the same time stating that you can't look at the ceiling, and then also stating that we've never measured curvature, and also using globe data and magically pretending it applies as if by magic to the flat Earth. So a bit of complete load of bollocks as usual. And so no, if people are going to lie like that and do fake maths and perform magic just so that the Earth can be flat, I'm not convinced. Why would I want to be a flat earther? Why would I want to have that dishonesty that goes on? Because this is clear that they need the flat Earth as a belief. Therefore, they can twist facts, ignore science, and just make up whatever bollocks they like. It doesn't matter if it doesn't comport with reality. So that's what being a flat earther is about. But anyway, that's enough for today with this video, and we'll see you again tomorrow.